Hello and welcome to the GameDev pitch competition. This year was, as you know, special again. Level 1 students had about 12 weeks to create a game from scratch using Unity, one of the leading game engines on the market. Teams competed against each other to showcase who has the best, most fun, or most educational game. This year again, we have the honor to have an amazing jury made out of industry professionals that evaluated and tested the games. With that being said, let's now discover the top 11 games of this competition, and in between the pitches there will also be unique student interviews. So grab some popcorn and let's start the show.
No. No, I've never heard of it before, just watched some devlogs on YouTube, but that was all. No, we had no clue.
I also never tried it myself, but I already had some experience with some programming languages.
I was interested, but I didn't know much.
I didn't really know what it is.
No.
Not really. So I already did a bit of modeling, 3D modeling before for myself, but I didn't really have any experience with GameDev.
I actually knew nothing at all about game developing before joining LTS.
Last year I did P5GS, but nothing with game dev.
No. I knew I knew coding before I came here.
No.
No. Actually, yes. I developed a small 2D game like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I did, because they already did last year. So.
I only have a couple of friends who are in that field, but I personally don't. No, I didn't at all. It was my first time working with programming and game development.
Me, yes, I programmed before, but not at home since I'm 12.
I think it was pretty much that we communicated a lot and we also understood each other very well. So the others could just, for example, give me an assignment to do and then I did that.
Yes,
We were very flexible all of the time.
like our Teams chat is like we have 100 files already, and
Yes. You can be proud if you see that you created something like that.
That's a good question.
The timeline.
There's a time pressure, and the goal to achieve a great game so everyone can enjoy and play. So we'd say that was the main goal to achieve, and the main reason why I really kept going with the art and do it during school time.
I think we had common goals and that's why we managed to go as far as we are right now.
I think it was really motivational that we kept working on our game and see the progress that we're doing.
Well, the idea of having an entire game to present and to play and to have fun doing it.
being able to create a game, because I didn't know anything, and then I started from the basics and I did the level, then I learned how Misteo was doing the coding, and then I learned more and more.
We really liked our game and we wanted to continue. We liked the concept of our game.
We wanted to complete a game that was fully functional and could play, and because we play video games on our own, we also wanted to try how it feels to build a game.
I kept imagining the last moment when we are on the stage and presenting our game, and I wanted to be good and to be proud of it.
Starting at the special place number 11, we have an honorable mention. It's Chosen World, a 3D RPG game. Well done to Maximilian, Niklas, Aditya. You win uncommon tech loot.
Welcome to my game. Sadly, my other members couldn't be here today, so it's just me, but welcome to Chosen World. So basically, Chosen World is a third-person RPG combat system game with exploration. The aim of the game is to find a village and defend off the demons. So after you've done that, you can gain a award from the chief from the village. Stages of the game are you explore for a village. Once you find a village, then you have an opportunity to help it and gain a reward. So I have a little gameplay of a combat system working. So I believe you can. So yeah, so that's just a little demonstration of the combat system. So sorry. So how the challenges of the game and how long it took. So for week 1, I had level design. I was messing with the environment tools and finding a good place to put a village and set the scenery up. Then in from week 3 to 4, 5, I did the system. So pretty much the movement, the combat, and the AI. In the week 8, I messed around with the main menu. So once the game is built, you can explore that. And then in week 10, I just did fixing bits and bobs and anything to make the combat system a little bit nicer. So this is our professional team. So me, Maximilian, I was the game design. I did pretty much all the coding, and I did also level design. Now we have Nicholas. He helped me with the combat ideas and what I could use in the combat system, like a health bar and everything. And then Aditya was for the game in general, just ideas. So I did, as you see, the environment is quite nice, and I had used paid assets because I feel as I was pretty much doing the whole thing solo, I had to improvise, and it was Black Friday, so I couldn't help myself. So we have the unlimited AI system, and it just gave me a general idea how to code my own AI system. Then we had animations, because what system is good without any animations? We had a 3 character model, like a skybox with a night and day cycle. Then we had a UI, just gave me templates and ideas to use for my own game. For the environment, I used a Synthi asset called Dungeon Realms. It's just for model my enemy and my weapons. And then the water shader was from Stylized Water, and the nature was from the nature pack. So thank you guys so much for listening to my presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed.
From place 10 to 7, each team wins a rare tech loot. And next up we have The History, a 3D educational adventure game. Well done, Noemi, Pete, and Lucas.
Humans like to have the control. You can see that everywhere in the world. And in our game, The History, you have the control of the development of the human being.
So our game is a first-person point-of-view game, and you're a scientist, and you're like you're developing a time machine, a time travel machine, and your partner that you created that time machine with is going back in time and trying to stop the development of the human history. So we got a small video of how our first scenes looking like. So we're starting in a lab, and yes. So there you can see our time machine, where you go in and press E to get teleported back in time to the old Egypt. We started with Egypt because we thought like it would be a very cool surrounding to start with. And in Egypt, you need to do some tasks to get the development again, to continue developing, like Our main character is called Avis Heather. She's 25 years old. She's a scientist. She studied at the University of Stanford. And you're playing Avis, and you gotta go against your good friend who's created with you the old time machine, like the time travel machine. And that's the goal of the game, like to get the evaluation back to continuing.
So I developed the maps, I developed two maps. First of all, the labo, which you have seen in the game of gameplay. And it's the laboratorium where you develop with your partner the time machine and where the game starts. So from this, how you've seen, you come to this map. This is Alexandria. I built it almost similar to the map of the historical old Alexandria. On the top, you see these two big buildings. That's the place where Cleopatra's palace was back in time. So yeah, here you accomplish your task and are mostly of the time in the game. Programmer Lucas is unfortunately today not here, but we're going to tell you a little bit about the tasks. So the first task would be you find out that your partner is gone, and now you want to go back in time with him. But in Egypt, you can't have modern clothes. So first of all, you need to find clothes which look like they are out of the old Egypt in the laboratorium. Then the second task would be to go through the time machine into Egypt. And Egypt, you need to live. So you need to find a place to stay, food, so you need a job. And these are the following tasks. Afterwards, you're gonna start developing the human being. And that's split up to finished tasks, which is very important for the history. And then all the environment will gain his color again. And these tasks are also based on real facts out of the history, like which it was in the past. There we go.
So in challenges, we wanted to talk about the problems we had creating the game. So we had a lot of problems. Like for me, I had problems with Blender because it kept crashing all the time. So I couldn't save anything, and it just didn't save. Our programmer was also a lot sick, so he wasn't there much time. So yeah, he also today went to the doctor. That's why he's not here.
And we also had problems with sharing my maps because when I sent them, my team partners couldn't open them, and we had to try out a lot until the other can use the maps. So thanks for your attention, and that's our game.
And next winner is Misteo. Well done to Sophia, King, and Lena, who created a 3D adventure game.
Imagine you find yourself in a forest where you have to explore and learn to survive. We present to you Misteo, a game that is a single-player fantasy exploration game where you have to gather ingredients from a forest to defeat the dragon of the forest.
The unique thing about our game is that there are no instructions. You have to try out the ingredients to learn their effects and what they do to the player or to the enemy. If you die, you learn and you get new experience. Okay, now we have a video of the gameplay. Right now you can see that you can walk around and pick up objects and the ingredients. In the back, the dragon runs around between different checkpoints so that it's not like static in one point. Now you can walk to the potion table, and there are 3 possible potions, and you have to click on them. If you have the right ingredients, you can get them, and they're added to your inventory. Now we'll see, this is how high you can jump usually. When you press 2, you use the blue potion, which makes you jump a lot higher, which we can see now. When you press 1, you use the pink potion, which makes you run faster. And when you press 3, you can throw the green potion at the dragon, which causes damage, which you can see at the health bar above. And here in the corner, we can see bars that indicate how much time you have left with the other 2 potions. Now, if the dragon now, the fight began, and now it follows you and it shoots fire at you, get damage at the health bar here, and you can kill the dragon with the green potion, and when it's dead, it disappears.
Our game used Blender to design dragon, and we use Unity for the terrain, and Lena is our programmer. Me and Sophia are the designer for terrain and dragon.
During our build of the game, we learned a lot. We were total beginners at the start, and we are very proud of what we have learned and what we have achieved. As you may have noticed, the game build is not complete because we saved the terrain that you can see here on a different version, and it was not possible to add them together. However, I believe that our game has a lot of potential, and I'm very proud to be here today. Thank you.
On a similar genre with a 3D action adventure game, we have Gravelord. Well done to David, Pete, Jung and Bob.
Hello, my name is David Garrett and that's Pete Krab, and we are going to represent our game. The game is like a Souls-like game, and the name from the game is Gravelord. The main object of the game is that the MC fights a deadly plague that mutes human. The character fights with a rapier and can dodge attacks to avoid enemies, to avoid damage. When he's low enough, he can heal himself. So that was our first map. The main objective is in the middle of the map, and you can go through some ways to go to the main objective. The enemies scatter through the whole map, and they can move like everywhere. The final boss is in the village, in the main cathedral, and the only way to access the cathedral is to kill enough enemies. So the game members and roles are Pit and I were the main programmers, and Bob designed the whole map and the cathedral, and Zhang helped us with all the tasks. So now you can see a short gameplay video of our game. Now you can see the main objectives, the village, and the bigger house is the cathedral. And the name Gravelord is based on the graves and the enemies that come from it. So you can see our T-posing priests here. We wanted to do a 3D game, but we didn't thought it was that difficult. So it looks kinda, we are beginners, so it looks like it. Sadly, there's no sound in our gameplay video. We had some sounds like fight music, a sword sound, and stuff like that. There you can see our graves, and that's the main object from the game, the cathedral. You cannot enter it now, but there's the boss in it. So that was our game. I hope you liked it.
Well, probably
getting to understand how the whole game development works. Because when we started, we had no idea how we would implement a 3D. I couldn't even imagine how I could put it into a 3D game. It seemed so impossible. And now I understood step by step that you have to do this and then do assets and then insert it into terrain. And step by step it became really clear.
Every time I said it should work, it didn't. And like there were a lot of wrong codes and I didn't know anything about Unity, so it was a challenge for me.
My biggest challenge was to find bugs. I did something and a few videos, of course, but sometimes there was a mistake and it was really hard to find the mistake.
So for me, it was the animations, the walking animation. Oh, I hate it so much. I had no idea how to do it, had no experience before with it, so I really had to was thrown into the blue and had to try out and figure it out myself.
I need to learn the various functions and things that Unity already provided out of the box for the programming to make the life easier, and also to work with the physics 2D system of Unity, because I wrote my own movement controller and it was very difficult code.
So I think one big challenge was to import the textures. We had so many problems to make them work on the material in Unity.
I guess we didn't plan very effectively. We just did what we thought we could do next, and we didn't plan out when we had to do what, and yeah, I think we would do that better next time.
At first, like, it didn't seem like we have much, but then when we put all of our work together, it really all added up, and at some point it just looked really cool, and we were not even expecting it to look this cool.
I think the biggest challenge we encountered was programming certain things, because we tried to code in C#, because I had already experience in that from the earlier years, so we continued doing that, but there were some things that were not as simple to resolve, so we had to look up some solutions in the internet.
Well, maybe the level design makes all the tools. At the beginning it was a bit complicated, but after time it became easier and easier.
Probably starting, the first weeks are the toughest, because it's just a blank slate. You just have to just start, because you don't really have a direction yet that you want to go down. It's completely open, so you don't have a clear-cut path to follow.
Organize better.
You gotta pay attention with the time management because it can get really stressful, especially at these times with COVID and the exams in school.
I think we would plan more from the beginning, like what is actually possible, and what we actually can do in eventually. Yes. Because at the beginning we had a lot of ideas, but we weren't really able to really get them all to work.
Yeah, maybe just like have less expectations at the beginning to start faster.
Enjoy the time working on the project and don't give up.
Even if it's tough, just continue, because it'll work out.
Don't stress about not knowing something, because you can always ask someone else.
Plan the things you want to do. Planning is everything.
Yeah, do one thing at a time. Honestly, I did everything together, and then I had some issues right, and then I tried to do something left, and then the issues on the right, they came back, and then I had to fix them, and then it was really complicated.
Well, I would say you have to organize your team very well, so you can everyone has their own things to do, so that the game can progress quite smoothly, and that there is no barrier that you encounter while programming.
Start earlier. Yes. Don't wait for the opportunity, but start now.
Take it easy. Don't do that much. Don't plan, yeah, let's do that, and that. Focus on the main things like an enemy, the map, maybe that.
Don't finish everything last minute.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, but at the last minute we made more problems than solved them. So
if the game presentation is the next day, don't work on it on the morning.
Start earlier and work hard on the beginning.
And finally, for the rare prize, we have Escape the Windows, a 2D puzzle platformer made by Roy, Nathan, and Misael.
So today I will be talking about our game Escape the Windows.
So I'll start off with the concept. So no, this game isn't about running away from Windows, but it's about escaping from Windows, the operating system. So you are a player trapped inside of Windows XP, and your goal is to solve puzzles in order to get keys, and with those keys you can then upgrade to a newer version of Windows. So in this image you can see a player trapped inside of Windows XP. So next up is the game type. So our game is a 2D puzzle-solving jump-and-run game. And in this video, you can see our player trying to solve this puzzle inside of Word by completing a jump-and-run. Next up, the mechanics. So they are quite simple. You use A or D or the arrow keys to move left and right. You use the space bar to jump, and you use the mouse to click on certain items, for example, to open an application. Now onto the design. So for every level, there is a new version of Windows. So you start off in Windows XP, you then move on to Windows 7, and you finish off in Windows 10. And for each level, we have different applications and puzzles to solve. So an example would be Paint inside of Windows XP, or Word inside of Windows 7. And we've also hidden away a bunch of Easter eggs, so good luck finding those. And in this image, you can see the player trying to solve the puzzle inside of Windows XP, the Paint puzzle. And here you can just see the player jumping around inside of Windows 7. And for the art and sound design, we have replicated the original Windows design and sound, so it should be quite familiar to you. We also have an evolving character. So on the very left, you can see our player inside of Windows XP, then Windows 7, and lastly, Windows 10. We also have made our own custom music for every level. And in this image, you can see the player with the upgraded design in Windows 10. So here are our roles. So I was the art and sound designer. Then Misael over there was the lead, the secondary programmer and level designer, and Roy here was the lead programmer.
Now we're going to show you a small showcase of the first level. So we start off in Windows XP, and it looks pretty much like the original. And you see this error message right here telling you to open the notepad. And in the notepad you can find your message, your missions that you need to complete to advance to the next version of Windows. So our player completes the Paint, Riddle, and then opens Minesweeper as indicated in the notepad to get the second key needed for completion. And after you got those two, you can open the control panel, enter the code, and after you've done that, you completed the level and can continue to Windows 7. We aren't going to show that here. So if you want to see it, the entire game, you have to play it for yourself. Thank you for your attention.
Next up, we increase the price to Epic Loot for the next 4 teams. First, let's start with the best educational game. That's a game that was not only complete and fun to play, but where the player can learn something from it as well. The prize goes to City Cleaners. Congratulations to Ahmed, Felix, and Matthew.
Hello everybody, today my team and I will present to you a game called City Cleaner. So what is it about? You play as a young trash collector. You can see an image of the player who arrives in a city that is overcrowded with trash. So your job is obviously to take the trash, clean the city, and make sure the trash can survive in the city. As you can see on this trash heap, we implemented different kinds of trash, such for example plastics bottles to represent the plastic or wine bottles to represent the glass. So the player has an additional challenge to always make sure to put the trash into the right trash bins. With this challenge, our goal was that the player gets used to do this in the game and might also get used to do this in real life. So with our game, the player can have fun and learn something at the same time. So let's take this trash heap as an example. This is how the trash would be separated correctly in a game. You can see we have 5 different trashes, and when you put your things into the diverse trash, you only get €1 because you want to show that when you put everything into one, it's less valuable than putting everything, all the trash is in the right trash bins.
Our game is a simulation and top-down kind of a game. We designed everything by ourselves except the city pack that we use while constructing the city. We added a lot of useful functions to help while collecting trash. You can drive a truck and collect trash bins with it. Trash bins give you money in exchange of your trash, and you can buy trash bags in order to be able to carry more trash.
So for our art style, we chose a clean, low resolution pixel art. The aim of it was to create a game experience like you were playing one of the old top-down games, for example, like Pokemon. For instance, our character looks like he could really fit into one of those games.
We are a great team of 3 people. Matthew, is our designer, who designed all of the trash bins, and the city. Felix, who coded all the animations and audio parts, and designed the player and the city. And me, Ahmed, I coded the most part of the game, such as trash, truck, bag, and the player.
While we were creating the game, we also had to face some problems. For example, one of the problems was that we couldn't collaborate at some point anymore in Unity, and then we had to create a completely new project and drag everything into it. And another problem was the pixel resolution that was way too high at the beginning, so we had to resize everything so that it fitted into the game. And lastly, managing school and game dev at the same time was sometimes really stressful. And that was it. Thank you for your attention.
Next, we have a first best fun game. That goes to Last Souls, a 2D action-adventure soul-like platformer. Congratulations to Tom, Laurent, and Marc-Antoine.
Today I'm honored to present to you Last Souls, created by the amazing Tom and the fabulous Marc and myself, Laurent. The game talks about how the punished one, the player, roams through the world in order to find the cure against all evil that plagues the world. In order to do so, he has to overcome multiple challenges and survive difficult fights. All of this just in order to meet the last witch, Walpurgis, and rob of her the last of all souls.
Okay, so the genders and themes of our game are roguelike, souls-like, and dark fantasy, which is what our inspiration was for our game. So the gameplay is action-packed, it's fast reaction, it's dodge. The game features are dodging and jumping, and basically it's kill, die, and repeat. So the unique proposition of our games are the atmosphere, the action-packed gameplay, and the unique pixel art.
So in this video, Laurent plays the game and performs various things like attacking an enemy, jumping, moving, and making a dodge roll.
Now here you can see the art I created for this game. On the right here, great and all the player, with a lot of effort I put it together. here you can see this heal potion I created, and on the top various items you may encounter on your journey. On the left side, the bonfire, well, inspired by the bonfire, it actually is called Soul's Fire. Oops. And here on the next slide, you can see all the items and art I created that never made it into the game and now haunts my files folder forever.
So now I'm going to talk about our team. Our team is composed of 3 people. Law, who created the art with the animations and did the level building. Mark did some research on the sound and some other things that were very crucial to the success of our game. And I performed the coding part, that means I coded the functions of the game. So now I'm going to talk about the hurdles that needed to be overcome in order for the game to be successful. First, at the beginning, we had to learn various new skills and technologies in the process of creating the game. For Laura, it was also very difficult to create the art with the animations that are looking very nice. For myself, it was very difficult at the beginning to interact with the Unity physics engine, and for Mark, it was very difficult to find a background music that matches out the theme of our game. Thank you for your precious time.
Just after that, we have a second best game. It's Gateway Edge, a 2D racing game. Congratulations to Sophie and Ian.
Hello and welcome to our game presentation. Our game is called Gateway Edge and we call ourselves Tojo Studios.
Gateway Edge is a game about someone who is trapped inside a computer simulation and he needs to complete tasks given by the computer, also referred to as the system. Throughout the game, he learns more and more about his purpose. It's a top-down racing game against time. The player needs to use their mouse to drag a glider across a map or radar racetrack. If you collide with the world at a certain speed, you die. The game's art style is a neon environment with many different items or obstacles to come across. It's a simple but fun and scalable level concept. Let's jump right into the demo video, which is actually a trailer for the game.
As you can see, you need to use your mouse to drag the glider across the screen. And you can also boost or brake. And there are 3 different zones in the game. So as you just saw, the gameplay is quite simple. You only need to use your mouse and 2 keys, one for boosting and one for braking. Gateway Edge features many different items, obstacles and interactive objects, all 3D modeled. For example, here's the player, which is just a simple triangle. But there are also pads, such as booster pads, braking pads and even teleporters. And of course, the decoration. The game is divided into 3 different zones. The first one being purple, the second one is blue, and the third one is green. All levels and zones have names of computer parts to enhance the simulation experience. A big thank you to our team. Without them, this would not have been possible. And thank you to Sophie, which is the artist of this game.
This is Ian, our developer.
Of course, we came across some challenges and difficulties across our way. For example, the first one was the time management due to all the schoolwork we had to do in the meantime. The second difficulty was the implementation of the story because We could not make our game too big. And the last challenge was the teamwork and management, because this was our first time working together in such a big project, and we had no experience in our team, basically. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.
Would be definitely teamwork.
I found it very interesting to work with the new with the Unity engine. For instance, I learned how to work with the timeline to create cinematic-looking scenes.
Use Blender to animate and to build a 3D model.
Unity, in general.
Yeah, Unity. Yeah, and we learned how to design a level because we didn't know anything about it.
And it's not always easy.
Well, programming in general, I would say. And also time management.
It's not impossible to make a game if you don't have any idea in this branch.
I improved a lot in teamworking, but also just 3D modeling as well.
Yes, I really learned everything from Unity, like from zero to now. Like things like moving in the scene that are like so easy now, and also programming with Bolt and C#.
Teamwork is very, very important. It is also important to work fast and get as many things as possible done whenever you can.
And then we have a last best fun game prize, which goes to Cramped. Congratulations to Cheryl, Leonardo, Massimo and Nathan for their 3D action platformer.
Good morning. Today we will pitch to you our own game called Cramped. The genre and theme of our game. It's a first-person, fast-paced game and a jump-and one where you have to complete the level as fast as possible.
I'll be showing you some of the gameplay of the game. So basically, it's a synthwave game, and the main menu, and on the main menu you can choose. You can choose to go on a tutorial, to quit, to go into the options menu, where you can change some settings, and you can also play the level. So when you spawn, you can see you're in a big lobby, and there's sticky walls. I'm gonna show you the sticky walls. It means that if you go on the sticky walls, you will fall slowly. Then there's also different colors, such as green and red, and if you fall on the red, you will have to restart from the start. Now, using the green platforms, you will have to go through the level as fast as you can, and yeah, it gets harder progressively. Now, there's different challenges, and it requires a lot of skill to get the level done in the least amount of time. Now, after a while, you will see your first checkpoint. A checkpoint means that if you die after this point, you will not have to start from the start, just from the checkpoint. So you see, I died there, but I started from here. And then the level gets really hard, and it requires a lot of practice and skill to master it. And there's also more obstacles, such as red walls not only on the ground, but also on the sides. Yeah, that's basically the gameplay.
So the art of our game. Our game has a synthwave design and a 19th arcade look, which contains blocky and neon textures which were made in Microsoft Paint. As you can see on the picture there.
Okay, so what issue did we have? So first of all, we had a lot of issue with COVID because we couldn't be able to meet up on other places, and also he had COVID. Then we had another issue, which where when we were coding, we had a lot of problem compiling the code. Then we had another problem apparently. Of course, I'm joking. So yeah.
Next up is our team. Our team consists out of 4 people. Leo, who did the coding and textures. Nathan, who helped doing the coding. And Charles and me, myself, we both did the level design. Thank you for your attention.
Nothing funny. Oh, I don't know.
Oh no.
It was not really funny, but our map designer deleted his map. So we had to do the map again.
He deleted it the last few days before.
So
we
he had to
finish
work
it.
a lot.
I had a bug that I worked on it for a few days and it was just...
So basically, I did the model for the spaceship, and when we imported it into Unity, you only saw the glass, and the whole bottom part disappeared. So we had to model it all over again.
Well, the German teacher catched me while I was drawing the warping animation. That was a bit funny. The same happened with my law teacher, who also catched me drawing the jumping animation. But except for those two, I think, no, nothing really funny for me.
No, it was interesting.
We just had like fails and that, and then we worked
Yes,
hard
and
to
we-
fix them.
we learned.
And like problems that like could have deleted everything, but it's not funny.
Yes.
Yes. For example, when I was animating the character, I had some issues with the animating, so he was moving in a totally strange way, or when I clicked on the wrong animation, he was squeezed together to death.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we made an Among Us character in our game.
Yeah, it was just an inside joke, but
yeah,
it was a really funny spot.
Well, it wasn't really funny, but one time our entire game just crashed and we had to start over from scratch.
It was a serious project.
I was going to say,
Very
serious.
Alright, now we are entering into legendary area. We have 2 teams that fully deserve the best team prize. They are both number 1. They have demonstrated a great game, a great pitch, but also convinced the jury that they had really a great team. Those teams ticked all the boxes and so win the biggest prize. And the best team award goes to Care. Congratulations to Lynn and Valerie for making an awesome educational 2D game.
Hello everyone, today we are going to introduce you to our game Care. My name is Lynn and I was in charge of the art design.
I am Valerie and I was in charge of the programming and the research.
And together we are going to present to you Care, a 2D game with an educational purpose. So, as you can see, we're starting off in an unknown environment and where we'll meet all different kinds of creatures living here, such as this little mushroom here. We will soon find out that they all suffer from a mental disease or illness, and of course, you want to help them. So, on the top left corner, we have a book that collects all the necessary information about the mental illness you need to know. In this case, it's autophobia, the fear of being alone. Here on the other side, we have the quest, where you need to help the mushroom to find his friends in the minigame in order to help him.
So, as we mentioned before, Care is a 2D mobile game consisting of levels and minigames. The minigames match the mental health issue of the creature. By playing these minigames, we help the little guy solve his problems. So the concept of the game isn't too difficult, but rather quite relaxing and fun.
So for the art, we have a little time-lapse video of the minigame. I really wanted to avoid bright and piercing colors, but rather go with a soft and a pastel-like palette in order to create this relaxing and comfortable environment in the game.
Next, we want to discuss why we want to make Care a mobile game. Well, Care is supposed to be a casual game you can play in between activities. For instance, you're sitting in a train or bus and you don't know what to do the following 20 minutes. You could play the game Care. It's relaxing, it's soothing, it makes you feel at ease, and most important, you are learning while playing. This game will provide you with information about each mental illness. And you will raise awareness, since it's a huge problem in our society. Our biggest problem was probably that neither of us knew how to program before, but we are content with our results. So,
thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you will like our game.
And the next Best Team Award goes to Drop Zone, a 3D strategy game made by Edgar, Maxim, and Sam. Great work.
This is Drop Zone. Drop Zone is a single-player simulator 3D game, and it's a strategic game where the main goal is to destroy the red enemy cubes, mainly using this cube right here, but also some other tools like these.
So the main idea of the game is that you have this platform, and on this platform you have some cubes. Those cubes you can drag and drop them on your drop zone, so the white zone. And once you hit play, the simulation will run and you can't interact anymore. So we have 4 different cubes: the player cube, the pushable cube, the rotator cube, and the duplicate cube. We will explain them to you in this gameplay. So right now we are in the level selector and we select the first level. Here in the first level you see there is a player cube, and he will move forward once hit play. As you can see, we can rotate and zoom in and out of the scene. Okay, so now we will introduce to you the pushable block.
So in the next level, we have the pushable block. He can't move by himself, but he can be pushed by the player cube to sacrifice himself and destroy the red cubes. Then in the next level, in level 5, we introduce in the rotating cube. He rotates the player cube when the player cube is near the rotator cube, and then the player cube change their direction.
Okay, so we have still the copier cube. So he just copies the cube behind him, but he isn't included in this video.
So for the artistic part of the game, we decided to go for a sci-fi futuristic looking style, and the main game scene basically consists of 2 items: the floating platform and the rocks. The entirety of the art was created in Blender, and we also have our own custom textures.
So about the programming, so the entire game is made with visual programming, so with Bolt and also a little bit of C#. The main idea is that the cubes check around them what's happening, and so they act accordingly to that.
So we created the music with Cubase Elements 11 and created the music on a MIDI keyboard, and we definitely recommend to have headphones to hear the sound effects and the music.
So in recap, as you can see, it's an original concept, and I think that the infinite amount of levels that you can create that become increasingly difficult definitely make the game interesting. Finally, this is our team. So this is Sam, who was responsible for the music. Maxime did the programming, and I'm for myself did the 3D modeling. So, yeah. Go and destroy the enemy cubes, yeah.
And this concludes this year's LTS GameDev pitch competition. As always, you should be very proud of what you have done and what you have achieved so far, even if you didn't reach the top. And well, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you had fun, and see you next year for the next one.
Fun. educating, and fun, stressing. I have no third one.
Fun, stressful.
It motivates you a lot.
Fun, educational, and
interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Really interesting. Yeah.
Challenging, autonomy, and fun.
Very nice environment.
Cool, fun, and interesting.
That's good.
Very great experience.
It's a good place.
Challenging?
Yeah, well, maybe fun because
Yes, more fun than funny.
Yeah, because it was cool to learn new stuff.
A good opportunity to learn something new. Because I liked it. I always like game dev, but I needed an excuse to actually start learning.
Fun, educational,
exciting. It can be challenging.
cool.
Giving great opportunities.
Fun, challenging.
I would say fun, creativity, and a lot of pressure.
Yeah.